afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Anthony Tassi. I'm from Literacy Partners. And I think Judy Garcia's testimony really illustrates two key points that haven't been raised as of yet. The first is that adult literacy programs are gathering places for the grassroots community leadership in many cases. And what Judy didn't mention in her testimony is that subsequent to graduating from our Spanish language parent education program, she's been hired by Literacy Partners to become a facilitator and now leads family reading promotion workshops at elementary schools. So adult literacy is an opportunity to build the leadership skills of community leaders, and in the case of Literacy Partners, those are parent leaders. And I wanted to say the other thing is that adult literacy is an ideal venue to focus on parents. And I know you know better than most the intimate connection between the skills of the parent and the academic performance of the children. And what we see at Literacy Partners, we offer adult literacy classes for parents in partnership with pre-Ks and Head Starts and 3Ks and other community organizations. And what we find is that by focusing on the parent, you can at once meet the needs of that adult for adult literacy skills, for English language proficiency, and help them build their capacity to promote their children's early learning, the social emotional growth that's really the foundation of it all in their youngsters. And some of the results that you could expect to see from a dual generation model like this is that family reading increases. In our program, parents are reading to their children double the amount as they compared to before they enrolled in our program. And as you know, as a former teacher, what would you say as a teacher if I told you there's a resource that could have families reading twice as much to their children? We see it even in Head Start, where they have an assessment of children's development called Teaching Strategies Gold on many indicators, and we see that the children of our teachers make much more progress on those assessments throughout the year than their peers do in the same Head Start program whose parents didn't have the opportunity. So I want to commend you, Mr. Chair, and the members of this committee for taking extraordinary leadership, for being the right person at the right time who really understands this issue better than anybody else, in the right position to do something very fundamental, to change the course of history in our city. I don't mean to exaggerate, but that's really what's at stake here, is the course of history for families across the city, with a fully funded adult literacy program that has flexibility to deliver programs in language and in culture that meet the immediate needs of our community and build the base for the next generation to have more success in the K-12 system. So I want to thank you and commend your leadership, and we're here to help in any way we can.
Thank you very much, and I'll say this as a former high school teacher, and I think many of my colleagues in education would agree, I could have designed and devised some great lesson plan. Nothing matches the power of parents and families being effectively involved in their children's education. Nothing. The greatest lesson plan, and I had a couple of good ones, does not compare to the family being involved and the DOE actually, or providers, in finding ways to actually not just listening but empowering them. That is, you are absolutely correct, and you're also correct in pointing out that there are multiple goals that should be recognized in programs. I had one of the graduates out of the OBT program in Coney Island is actually interested in joining a community board right now, and that to me is also very goal worthy. That's very important. Increasing civic participation, knowing how to not just fight for yourself but for your community, is very powerful. But as we've learned in many of the funding streams, that's not a measured metric. And so the city's portion, which might have some more flexibility, is the smallest portion in contributions into these programs. So it's both in terms of more resources for these programs, but also speaking to our state federal partners to cut the strings, give us more resources and cut the strings, and allow us to design and customize programs around the needs of our families. And thank you for crystallizing that point. And thank you also to OBT for sticking with us, because OBT could have picked up and left Coney after the first cohort class, but we sat down together. This is important. We sat down together because the initial results were not that great. A lot of folks did not finish the class, but we sat down in partnership and tried to find out why. and we learned about the barriers in terms of childcare, food insecurity, which are human needs. And we increased support, and attendance picked up, retention picked up, and that to me is so important, because we're building human capacity, we're building communities, we're building a sense of family, and I think that to me is the ultimate goal here as well. So I thank all of you for sharing your powerful stories. Thank you so much. Thank you.